Hey friends! Today's video, we're going to be doing an unpopular opinions video where I take your unpopular opinions that you sent me on Instagram and I'm gonna be reacting to it, agreeing, disagreeing, what have you. Also, if you want to get a phone case with my design on it, links in the description. Merch is still there. So we got a bunch of spicy ones, all kinds of spicy ones from y'all. So I asked for people's opinions on makeup, TV, music, entertainment in general, and I got a wide range of things. I got some stuff where I'm like, I have no idea, and I'm not really, I don't know enough about that topic to give an opinion or to have an opinion about it. So if yours got left out, it's probably because of that. Parks and Rec is better than The Office. There were a handful of Parks and Rec Office related ones. I disagree for a couple of reasons. One, I feel like they're just at their core different shows. I feel like with The Office, it was very much based on a British comedy, so it has a different kind of feel, a different kind of structure. Parks and Rec was definitely more relatable because it was based here. It had people that you probably related to more in general. The Office was just more ridiculous, over the top. So they're just different shows. It's comparing apples and oranges. Just because they were both like mockumentaries, they were very different shows, but I loved them both. Some eyeshadow looks are so overdone, they look like drag. Well, I think that's the point. I think that's the point, to do drag makeup, to do over-the-top looks, and just like, yeah, do whatever you want to fucking do. The last thing I'm gonna do is fucking makeup shame. Like, do whatever you want to do. If you want to do a super over-the-top, crazy, avant-garde drag look, go for it. If you want to do like a day-to-day kind of neutral eye look, go for it. If you want to do like this, go for it. You know, everybody's choices are different.
Next.
Shawn Mendes can sing, but ultimately is a mediocre hot white boy. Yeah, I would say that. I've never been a huge fan of his music, just because I'm not a huge fan of pop music in general. Honestly, my favorite thing about Shawn Mendes is the fact that he's like best friends with Teddy Geiger, and I love that so much. But yeah, ultimately a mediocre hot white boy. Tarte & Benefit should close up shop. Damn, I mean, I don't know if I would say that Tarte should close up shop, because I feel like they're still coming out with new things. Benefit though, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing it? Why are you the way that you are, Benefit? Yeah, I think Benefit should just like cut their losses.
Next.
I don't like Netflix originals. I feel like that there's definitely probably too many Netflix originals. Like they're going for quantity over quality for sure. The amount of shows and the amount of shitty shows that Netflix puts on their platform, yeah, they need to pare it down. But like, I love some of the Netflix originals. Stranger Things is great. It's not all good, but it's not all bad either. The amount of foundation Instagram makeup people use, I'm assuming they mean is too much. Again, it's kind of whatever floats your boat, but I definitely feel like people on Instagram and Instagram beauty academies and Instagram makeup artists just use a lot of product for the sake of clickbait and for the sake of making videos that are engaging rather than for practicality reasons. Definitely, I would defer to Robert Welsh, who has spoken very much on the subject, and I feel like he says it a lot more eloquently than I ever would. But yes, Instagram makeup, there's just too much product in general. This one made me laugh. Libby! Someone said, I genuinely do not understand why people find Timmy Chevrolet attractive. To be fair, I've never seen a movie with him in it, so I don't know his acting chops. But I know he's got like a jawline that makes him attractive to people. I mean, he's like cute. I don't know, like, he has that same kind of jawline of like a young, hot Brad Pitt, I can imagine. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely celebrities that I think people find attractive where I'm like,
why?
I don't think he's one of those people. I think he's like pretty. Timmy Chevrolet really got me though. My eyebrows don't match exactly, and that's okay. Brows can be different. I mean, they always say that brows are sisters, not twins. I learned how to do makeup with the idea that brows are sisters, not twins. So I don't know if that's just like Instagram makeup that's turned that into they need to be identical twins. But like, at most fraternal twins, but like, yeah, brows don't have to be perfect and identical. You do you. Obviously, if your brows are not naturally identical, do what's right for your face and what's right for your routine. Setting with powder isn't always necessary, especially for people with dry skin. Absolutely. I didn't set with powder today. It was an accident, but like, yeah, if you have dry skin, if you're not wearing like a full foundation thing, like you don't need to set with powder. Seriously, watch Robert Welch's videos. He fucking goes in on baking and I love it. Love him. He's great. Now we're getting into some movie stuff. The Last Jedi was a good film. Honestly, I liked it, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like every opinion about Star Wars is unpopular because there's such a strong just camp on either side of like people who loved The Last Jedi and people who hated The Last Jedi, and then people who loved The Rise of Skywalker and the people who hated The Rise of Skywalker. I don't have a super strong opinion about Star Wars in general. I enjoyed both films for being entertaining films, but I did not grow up with Star Wars in the same way a lot of people did. So I don't know if I'm the right person. Well, I mean, I might be the right person because I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, is it entertaining? Great. The Force Awakens was great of these new movies, but like Rogue One was so good. Like, I loved Rogue One. Rogue One, I think, might have been my favorite out of these new ones. So yeah, Star Wars. Please don't fight in the comments. People should stop expecting people to get married and to have kids even if they are older. People should just respect everybody else's life choices as long as it's not hurting anybody. And that includes choosing to have kids or to not have kids. It's my body, it's my choice. There were books things that I had no idea. Anybody who said anything about books, I don't have any opinions about because I don't read enough. This one, now we're getting into some
spicy ones.
Nirvana is overrated. If you don't know, I'm from Washington State. I live in Seattle. Like, my uncle came of age, like, was in his 20s in the early 90s, late 80s. Like, during grunge, my uncle, that was his thing. So I grew up with that influence from him. Like I said in a recent video, I have a ticket stub from Nirvana's last Seattle show before Kurt died. So for me, Nirvana has always just had a place in my heart, just within, like, music history. Is their music the best thing that's ever graced this earth? No. As far as Nirvana's music, I think it's overrated. Like, actual prowess, instrumentation, songwriting. Kurt wasn't the best singer. He wasn't the best songwriter. He wasn't the best guitarist. I would argue that Dave Grohl is like one of the best drummers of his generation. I feel like Nirvana's music is overrated, but like Nirvana's like place in music history and like their impact isn't overrated. I feel like that they like were like pivotal moments of the early 90s when it came to music, and like grunge completely changed the game. Soundgarden was better. Soundgarden was better. Like, Chris Cornell's voice was far superior to Kurt Cobain's voice. I would argue Cornell's singing voice, top of the list. Rest in peace. Nirvana's music was overrated, yes. But the band's impact, no. This one, I'm about to throw hands. Okay, Fleetwood Mac may be the worst band ever. I don't know why people hate Fleetwood Mac so much. What the fuck? Like, I love Fleetwood Mac. I've seen them play live. My parents have seen them play live multiple times. I own Rumors on vinyl. Stevie Nicks, great. Lindsey Buckingham, so good. Mick Fleetwood, fantastic drummer. Fleetwood Mac is great. Maybe like people get bored of their songs after a while and they just get overplayed, but like they're absolutely not the worst band ever. I will fight anybody. They're not the worst band. There are so many bands that are worse than Fleetwood Mac. Libby would share this opinion. I don't hate Nickelback. I don't especially like them. I just don't get why they're universally condemned. I feel like they're universally condemned because it became a meme. Like, it was a meme before memes had a name, where like their songs just like Rockstar is just a bad song. And the thing is, I feel like that they wrote a lot of just like shitty radio friendly shitty rock songs, but like that's my own thing. Like, that's my opinion. I don't think they're the worst band in the world. I think, again, there's plenty of other bands that are worse than Nickelback. I mean, there's a video on my old channel that's very cringy, makes me want to die, where I literally said a deal breaker with dating somebody was that
if you like Nickelback, I don't respect your taste.
Literally, I was that person. So yeah, I've grown out of that. So like, if you like Nickelback, I don't fucking care. If you hate Nickelback, I don't fucking care. Like, I don't care. Like, I wouldn't choose to listen to them, but like, if they were at a festival that just like I happened to be at, yeah, I'd go fucking see them because it would be hilarious. Also, Hero on the first Spider-Man soundtrack, great song. Like, they had some great songs. They also had some bad songs. You could argue that Weezer also had the same number of bad songs to great songs as Nickelback. I don't want to get into that argument though. Piss off the Weezer stans. Although, I don't think the Weezer stans are watching my videos. Okay, Star Wars makes no sense and it's not really that good. I don't think it's not that good. I think it's fun. If you haven't watched all of it, it's a little, I mean, like, you can get lost at times. Definitely if you read into all of it and then you're like, wait a minute, they retconned all of this. Retconned is retroactive continuity, so they like fucked with stuff that they like put as canon before. Kind of like how like Han died at the end of Tokyo Drift and then they like brought him back in like Fast and the Furious 4? That's a whole other thing. Some indie brands are charging luxury prices for less product and we falling for it. So this, I feel like it could be an entire video topic, but with indie brands, with differing levels of like the size of the company, it's hard to tell, like when looking at social media, like sometimes you don't know if a company is run by 1 or 2 people or if it's run by like 10 people. With indie brands, usually it is like 1 to 3 people. And with those, they always have to order less product. There's always like more overhead than from like a big brand because they're ordering less of a thing than something like Urban Decay. So for like an indie brand, if they're ordering like 500 of like a packaging for like a palette versus like 100,000, you know? When you order 100,000, the price per unit goes down. So for the indie brands, when they're ordering less of that product, the price per unit is a lot higher. And so they have to charge more because it is more expensive for them, like as a brand, because they're not ordering as much. And usually things are hand done. They also don't get the like the bulk rates for shipping. They just don't get bulk rates really on anything, depending on the size. So something like, I don't know, like JD Glow, for instance, usually they're not ordering as much at a time because they can't afford to order as much at a time because it is so small. Also, a lot of times with indie brands, sometimes they specialize in things that are more expensive. So like multi-chrome eyeshadows, those are just more expensive to make, and so they're specializing in things that are just generally more expensive. While I think there are some indie brands that jack the prices up a little high, I also understand why a lot of them do, and I don't fault them for it because they don't have the same kind of overhead money, and they don't have the same kind of startup money, and they have a higher overhead cost. Does that make sense? Contouring with blush beats actual contour. No, I was not alive in the 80s. Do whatever you want to do, y'all. Like, if you want to contour with blush, I contour with contour, but I'm a fair, cool-toned person, so I could probably contour with blush if I wanted to, but I wonder if people think of contouring as the way as, like, Instagram contouring is, where you take, like, a bronzer stick and you, like, paint your face with it. That I'm not a fan of, but, like, using a contour powder that's in, like, the right shade and, like, using it strategically, it definitely has its place and its purpose, but contouring with blush definitely is fun. Like, if you're going for a fun look, yeah, do that. Get down with your bad self. Dating shows are trash and normalize toxic relationships. Well, I think dating shows being trash is the reason why people watch them, because it makes them feel better about their own lives or their own relationships. And I definitely think that there are some dating shows that are worse than others, but like my sister and I were just talking about it. I feel like with some dating shows, watching the shitty people sometimes works as a mirror. Like, if you're watching it, you're like,
oh, that person's relationship sucks.
and then they like realize that their relationship sometimes holds some of the same attributes, and if they're like, oh shit, it just shines a light on some of their own issues, I feel like sometimes. But like, Libby and I watch shitty dating shows, but we also like view them as something that's like frivolous and garbage TV that is not to be taken seriously. I don't know if everybody can watch shows like that with the same level of just like self-awareness. Yeah, I don't know. This one I wasn't sure what you were talking about. Bohemian Rhapsody isn't good. If you're talking about the movie, yes. If you're talking about the song, I'll fight you. I mean, I prefer Don't Stop Me Now, but Don't Stop Me Now is like a perfect song. But yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie is terrible, but Bohemian Rhapsody, the song is like great. I really hope you're talking about the movie. Because yeah, it was bad. Glitter in highlighters is very excessive. No, I love glittery highlighters. Glitter in highlighters is so fun. I stan glittery highlighters.
You know what's good for me. That's my opinion!
Makeup YouTube is too sensitive or overreactive about brand release frequency. I don't think so. I think because it ramped up so quickly, people were just calling it out for what it was. And I feel like, especially with a brand like ABH that really ramped it up really quickly out of nowhere, I feel like the outcry was justified for sure because they're expensive stuff, and coming out with continuously new products one after the other, I don't know. Like, it's not the same as something like ColourPop. I don't think the community was being like overly sensitive or overreactive because brands don't care about our feelings, and brands don't have feelings because they're companies, not people. It's different than like calling out a person because it's calling out a brand. Editing me here, there were a couple of other unpopular opinions that I got in my mentions after I had recorded this video, so I wanted to add those in because there were some where I was like really, really side-eyeing y'all. Really side-eyeing y'all. Olives are trash. I'm not a fan of olives either, so I'm with you on there. It's just like they're weirdly vinegary, but like...
They're delicious.
Libby likes them. I don't like them. I'm not a fan of olives, especially Kalamata olives. I hate Kalamata olives. Big Bang Theory wasn't funny and shouldn't have lasted as long as it did.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, Big Bang Theory was... I maybe only watched like the first couple seasons, and then after that I didn't give a shit. So, y'all had all kinds of things to say about TV shows. The TV show Friends really isn't that good. Also agree. We preferred Boy Meets World and that 70s show growing up. The Lush Snow Fairy scent is fucking shit. I also hate Snow Fairy, so I know it's unpopular. The opinion's unpopular, but Snow Fairy is a popular fragrance, but I don't like it either. My favorite's Lord of Misrule, which like couldn't be further from Snow Fairy, so. Libby likes Rose Jam. Luxury eyeshadow palettes don't need to include transition shades. I feel like if you're paying for like a lot of money for an eyeshadow palette, you should be able to get an entire look from it. If it's like a palette, if it's like a quad of like toppers or a quad of like very special types of shades, that's one thing, but if it's like a full palette, like at least 6 colors, you should be able to make an entire look from one palette if it's expensive, for sure. I'm paying luxury prices. I don't want to have to pull out another palette. I'm sorry. Schitt's Creek is not funny. No, it's so funny. Moira, like Catherine O'Hara, is a revelation. Dan Levy, hilarious. Annie,
Fucking hysterical.
it's so good. It's so good. Back to the video. Expensive makeup is never worth the price tag. When we're talking about expensive, like Marc Jacobs, Tom Ford, Charlotte Tilbury, yes, it's never worth that much money. You're always buying the name. You're always buying the name brand. I think for like mid-tier kind of expensive brand stuff like Urban Decay or like BareMinerals or like ABH. I mean, I definitely think that there are a lot of brands that are overpriced, but I don't think across the board every brand that's not drugstore is overpriced. But I think stuff like Tom Ford, Marc Jacobs, Charlotte Tilbury, Dior, stuff like that, definitely not worth the money. This is an interesting one that could be its own video. Influencers who only know how to do makeup on themselves shouldn't be considered pro makeup artists. I feel like based on like the original definition of a pro makeup artist, you're right. Because a pro makeup artist is a working makeup artist that does makeup for projects, for productions on other people. That is a working makeup artist. But I think that a lot of what people are doing on Instagram is still artistry, and I feel like they're making money for it a lot of times. Like if you're getting sponsored posts, if you're getting ads on stuff, like you're still professional because you're getting paid. I think it's a different category and it should have its own name, because it definitely can be misleading when somebody who primarily does makeup on their own face, calls himself a pro MUA, but they have never actually like worked on a set for something, it can be misleading for sure. So I think there needs to be a different category, but I also feel like the artistry that goes into doing people's makeup, like the actual kind of avant-garde looks, shouldn't be discredited because they're not like working on a movie set or something, you know? I love Greta Van Fleet, even though people think they're a knockoff Led Zeppelin. I don't like Greta Van Fleet. My sister does. I don't necessarily think that they're a knockoff Led Zeppelin. I think they're just like a knockoff of like the 70s as a whole. And I don't think that they're that great. I also feel like just like watching the way that the lead singer sings, his voice is going to die within the next 5 years. The way that he strains it is painful looking. I really do hope that he is like a professional voice coach, because I feel like he's gonna strain his voice to where like he kills it. Next is one that I will also throw hands. I had 2 different people say that Taco Bell sucks. That's the point. Everything tastes the same. Everything has the same ingredients, just in different orders with different
Meats.
and then different like vessels to eat them with. I love Taco Bell because it's cheap and it's fast. I'm not eating it right now. It's so cheap. Like, it's so inexpensive because it's probably not real meat. I love Taco Bell. I also smoke weed, so like, it goes hand in hand, right? Instagram lives need to stop. Honestly, there are some people on Instagram that I feel like are doing lives way too much, that like Instagram just at the top, like whenever I log into Instagram, it's like everybody's fucking live. So I feel like they need to just come up with a better way of like grouping the Instagram lives versus the stories, because I feel like it's kind of taking up, like I don't even want to click on the stories now because it's all lives at the beginning, but I get why people are doing them. So it's like I can't fault them, but I feel like Instagram needs to do a better job at just like organizing it, you know? Makeup that is promoted by mainstream beauty websites is actually really boring. I mean, it's wearable. Most mainstream makeup brands are not gonna fucking advertise like avant-garde looks because it's not something that's like universally liked. So I feel like most like big mainstream brands are gonna go out of fashion with like the niche makeup community, because like people already know how to do that and people already have that and people already just have used it for years. So they want stuff that's like different and new and cool, and they want looks that are weird and avant-garde and have like crazy shapes and stuff. You're not wrong, but I get why. I had 2 different people say something that I am just happy about. I used to like Jeffree Star, but I strongly dislike him now. He's so fake and annoying and problematic. Yes, to all of this. Not that I used to like him, but yes to all of this. Welcome. I'm so thankful Game of Thrones ended. I didn't think any of it was that great. I wish it would have ended 2 seasons earlier. The first 6 seasons were great. 7th season was weird, and the 8th season was garbage. KFC chicken sucks. Yeah, I really only like their macaroni and cheese and their mashed potatoes. Like literally, I don't remember the last time I had KFC chicken. Shane Dawson's false interest in makeup with the launch of the Jeffree Star Cosmetics collection. I'm just assuming the unpopular opinion is that his interest in makeup was false. I definitely am interested to see what he's going to do with that channel, because like, I don't know, I'm just kind of getting tired of like Shane putting like all of this energy into something and then just disappearing from the internet for like months at a time. And like, I get that he does these big documentary projects, but I feel like he puts himself through so much more work, and he makes it harder for himself that he doesn't have to do it the way that he does it. I feel like he just needs to like manage his time better. Yeah, and I haven't seen that much. I mean, I'm like, makeup is fun, and so it should be fun. Like, I really hope he's having a good time, but like, I haven't seen much of anything about it. Like, I don't know. But how many people have you seen talking about the palette since it came out? No one? Cool. Blonde roast coffee is better than dark roast. Absolutely. Blonde roast coffee is delicious, and it has way more caffeine. I've been drinking instant coffee though, because I've been making the whipped coffee every day. When people wear blush on the tip of their nose, it just makes them look sick. I take offense to that because I do that all the time. It's a look. Who cares? It looks cute. I think it looks cute as shit. I like it. I like it. ColourPop is extremely overrated and pretty shitty quality. I think that their quality is hit or miss because I've gotten some good products from them that I like, but also I think some of their products are crap. Like their ultra matte liquid lipsticks from ColourPop are garbage. Like the matte liquid lipsticks are the worst liquid lipsticks I've ever tried. But also I think like a lot of their eyeshadows are good. This might be my favorite unpopular opinion because to me, this is not unpopular at all. This is exactly how I feel. Jeffree Star shouldn't have more chances. He creates drama in everything he touches. Are people now just seeing the light? Are people now just getting this? I am curious to see the interview with Chris Hansen. I'm filming this on Saturday. The interview with Chris Hansen dealing with Davey Vanity is tomorrow, and I'm not gonna watch it because I don't know if I could sit through that much gaslighting, but I'm definitely gonna be watching people's rundowns of it. I'm gonna be watching. Absolutely Creepshow Art is gonna do one. Probably Ready to Glare. So I'll just watch their videos after the fact because I'd rather support them. Like, it's kind of annoying that it's taken this much for people to start being like, oh,
maybe Jeffree Star isn't a good person.
It wasn't the racism, it wasn't the sexism, it wasn't the like misogyny and just like shitting and harassing and just being generally mean to his fans. It wasn't all of that. And it's, I mean, granted, this is also terrible. What he's being accused of now is also horrible. But like, it's suspect that it's taking so many people this long to realize how bad of a person that he is. Just saying. So yeah. Yeah. For today's song of the day, let's see. What do I want today's song of the day to be? Today's song of the day was the song that I made my Instagram song of the day, End of the World by Cumulus, because it's timely. And it's a good song, and Alex is cool. And you should go listen to this song, because it's very good. It's like a fun pop song about the end of the world, so. This video was all in good fun. Granted, I got a little serious there at the end, because there's a lot happening right now on the internet that I haven't spoken about a lot, because there's just too much for me to talk about. And everybody else has said everything else I would want to say. So, if you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more of my content, please subscribe. That would be very cool. Thanks so much to my patrons. As always, I appreciate you so much. I do have an ASMR channel that I am publishing to once a week. So if you would like to subscribe to that, if you like ASMR, if you like relaxing things, definitely check it out. I hope you liked today's video, and I will see you all on Thursday. Bye!